大家好，欢迎来到美国好莱坞绕赛真人秀第二季。代志大条 ，Diddy 被关了 ，and the feds raided his house and they found drugs, guns, and oil. Lots of oil, like 1000罐 of that slippery stuff, yo.
Like the lube!
So, in today's video, we're going to take a close look at exactly what the diddler is being charged with, and we're also going to take a look at some of the other more horrible things he's done to even more people. And it's only a matter of time before Hollywood faces a huge wave of unprecedented arrests. And on this episode, I'm also going to speculate exactly which celebs might be making license plates real soon. Now, you can get that popcorn ready if you want to, but I have to warn you, this episode is going to be heavy, yo. So you're going to need maybe 1 or 2 bottles of whiskey. 真的是代志大条。Okay, so I know quite a few of you have only recently subscribed to our channel. 谢谢你的订阅. So if you have no idea the whole situation with Sean P Diddy Combs, give me a couple of minutes and I will catch you up.
Let's recap.
Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most successful producers in American hip-hop, is arguably one of the worst celebrities in Hollywood history. Real talk, this guy's done so many things even screenwriters couldn't make this shit up. From grooming Justin Bieber and possibly even pruning his flower, to turning 大咖嘻哈尼哥 into 水尼哥, to even 让他老婆出刷 right alongside Whitney Houston.
Jesus.
Now, everything I just mentioned is speculation and rumor, but considering the fact that just 10 years ago, all the charges being brought upon Diddy were also considered rumor, there's a big chance that any or all of this shit could be true. So let's take a look at the actual allegations. Hosting freak-offs and supplying women for hire along with illegal substances, forcing his own girlfriend to participate in these freak-offs with men for hire, all while filming it and doing it across state lines and sometimes in other countries. And the worst sin of all, putting his hands on this poor girl in private and in public in the most brutal way possible. Google the Cassie Hotel video to see what's what. But despite all this horrible madness, Cassie still had the balls to expose the diddler's true face to the entire world by suing his ass and also cooperating with the FBI. And just 1 month ago, we learned that while Diddy was doing all this horrible stuff to Cassie, he was also doing it to another woman at the exact same time, but worse.
Piece of shit.
Okay, so this is where I have to warn you that you might want to get your whiskey ready. Actually, a couple of glasses, because what I'm about to reveal in this next segment is absolutely horrible. It is some really dark shit. And because of YouTube and the very dark nature of this subject matter, I'm gonna have to censor out a lot of it, so try to use your imagination.
Hold on to your butts.
Okay, so now we bring in Gina Huynh, who is secretly and then ultimately publicly dating Diddy at the same time that he was in a relationship with Cassie.
I'm not sure what she knew about me, but I'm pretty sure she could feel me in a way. Because when she said, I don't have no hate towards you, I've been in your position. She said that to me, so.
Now, although Gina didn't really understand what Cassie was saying to her at the time, about 6 months later, she fully understood what she meant.
When you said that he hit you in front of your daughter, how did she react?
She was 3 at the time, and when it was over, we went downstairs because we were at his house. So we went downstairs, and she's like, she calls him Poppy, and she's like, Poppy hit you? And she said that in front of one of the house manager, and she heard it. And I think someone, like, I'm sure someone said something to him because that was the only time that ever happened.
So it is clear that this guy has absolute zero shame. You're gonna put your hands on a woman right in front of her own kid? This is only the tip of the iceberg, because what happens next is something unforgivable, dude.
I told him, and he was like, you're gonna get an abortion, right? And then I was like, I don't know yet. And then he offered me $50,000 to get rid of it, but I turned it down because I just loved him, and I was like trying to prove that I wasn't the girl that was wanted him for money. Okay. I just care about him, and I just wanted him to be nice to me. That's it. I was like, I don't want your money. I just want you to be nice to me. We was upstairs and we were in his closet, and he like pushed me and I fell to the ground, and then he like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back, and he stood over me, and he started like me like this. Like he avoided my face, but he like started me like on the side of my head, and I was just like covering my face. He did that, and then after he got done doing that, he like, cause he was standing, his legs were like in between me, so he on my stomach like really hard, and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, but he kept, and I was like pleading to him, like, can you stop? I can't breathe.
What an absolute piece of shit. You put your hands on your girl who's carrying your child? And sad to say, this happened not once, but twice. Because when Gina got pregnant again, Diddy rinsed and repeated the exact same SOP. But do you want to know what's even worse? Is that the people around her knew what was going on and did absolutely nothing.
Every time me and he, like, we get into like fights like that, the only person that ever helped me was D-Rock. Everyone else just kind of just allowed it to happen and just like look the other way and not really step in to stop.
I believe that women have been coming out, but nobody was listening. You understand? Nobody wanted to hear it. Did you hear that guy Van was on TMZ? He said somebody told him the story about Gina years ago, but he didn't want to hear it, and he wasn't going to take it to TMZ because they was in partnership, or Diddy was in power. So he wasn't going to bring it up. The police wouldn't take it. You understand? Lawyers wouldn't take it. Now lawyers see a paycheck. They taking it. And that's what it's about.
So now you understand not only how terrible of a demon this person is, but also just how much power he had. For a hot minute, Diddy was unstoppable. And I'm only telling you the short version. For those of you who only recently subscribed to our channel, we actually did a 5-part series detailing all the things that went down with Diddy, his accusers, and all the wild stuff he allegedly committed. And let me tell you, that series has more madness than the Orange Man and the Xiao Cai Hong series put together. Link down in the comment below. Now, as Jin Tai as that was only season 1, and season 2 has already begun. Episode 1, the FBI raids Diddy's homes, confiscates a shit ton of evidence, and now they have the diddler in handcuffs. 这么精彩，让我们继续看下去。So, Diddy is now in chains, held without bail, and soon after that, the lead prosecutor held a press conference detailing all the charges against him.
The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
Now, all of this directly matches the accusations that Cassie alleged back in her 2023 lawsuit, where she explicitly accused Diddy of flying her to different locations to participate in freak-offs, getting her hooked on illegal substances, and ultimately putting his hands on her. And unfortunately, back when she first filed that lawsuit and brought forth her accusations, a lot of people were calling her a liar and a gold digger. But in the end, it all turned out to be true.
In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson.
Now, all this exactly matches the accusations that music producer Lil Rod made against Diddy whenever he was hired by the Diddler to make an album for him. But ultimately, he ended up filing a $30 million lawsuit. And in that lawsuit, he implicated some heavy hitters, from Cuba Gooding Jr. to Meek Mill to Usher to even Chris Brown. Because according to Lil Rod, the Diddler had tapes on everyone. And keep this in mind, because it'll come in handy a little bit later. And when the prosecutor talks about the charge of arson against Diddy, this exactly matches the allegations that Cassie made last year when she claimed that once Diddy got so jealous about her ex-boyfriend that she blew up this fool's car.
That is gangster.
Oh, but we are not done, because I've saved the best charge for last.
Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes.
So this fool is being charged under the RICO Act. That's the same shit they used to charge mobsters, yo. Under the RICO Act, it has a 90% conviction rate. So I think it's safe to say Diddy is done. So everything we detailed in our previous series has been confirmed by the prosecutor, but there's one charge that he didn't mention: murder. But give it a few days and I bet you more people will be willing to come forward and testify about Diddy's other crimes. Now, word on the street is that however bad Diddy may be, he's just the fall guy, and that all this crazy madness was set into motion by one of the most powerful men you have never heard of, Lucian Grange. Okay, so like I mentioned in the previous chapter, Diddy is being charged under the RICO Act, but what I failed to mention is that he could be facing multiple life sentences, plural. And for Diddy to get out of this, or at least get on parole, he's only got one option.
Start talking.
Now, do you remember in the last chapter when I said that this fool has tapes on everyone who attended his parties?
But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
So needless to say, if the dealer wants to negotiate a deal, he's gonna have to get to scribbling. And there's a big chance that one of the names that might be on that list is one of the most powerful, biggest names in the music industry.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal. He's like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. My daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucy.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucy.
Or Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa.
So if you've been watching our channel at least for the past couple of months, then you already know what it is with Drake. My man is on some super sus shit when it comes to underage girls and grooming and everything in between. And just by pure coincidence, he happens to be really tight with Diddy. And that guy Lucian that Kanye mentioned, he is the CEO of Universal Music Group. This dude is a heavy hitter, yo. He's responsible for signing acts such as Rihanna, Drake, Diddy, and even Taylor Swift. In fact, he offered both Taylor and Drake two of the biggest record deals in music history. And he's also on that list of co-conspirators with Diddy in the RICO trafficking ring, as stated by Lil Rod in his lawsuit. So with the long A-list of musicians under Lucian Grange's wing, it might only be a matter of time before Taylor, Drake, maybe even Jay-Z have to answer some questions at the hands of the prosecutor. And if Diddy gets to talking, it'll be an absolute Hollywood bloodbath. 这个血真的会流成河。
Somebody's behind it, somebody way up the ladder, and I think that ladder is the head of Universal Music Group. He called in his favors from his friend. The head of Universal Music Group, he's put Diddy up, and they sacrificing Diddy. They said, nigga, you gotta take this. We can't be involved. But Diddy's smart. He filmed every session. He was fucking Clive and the motherfucking freak boy that run Universal Music Group. Now that's why they raiding the house, because they got friends in Homeland Security and the feds. And they said, get in there and get them tapes from this nigga. He trying to blackmail us.
So as you can see, Lucian has a lot to lose. And if he wants to protect his assets such as Taylor and Drake, he's gonna have to do whatever is necessary to keep Diddy from talking. Hey, whatever happened to the last guy who threw some parties with some Hollywood celebrities on an island and then he got arrested?
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he could see himself in a cage. I don't think he could see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help him.
So, if news surfaces of Diddy's sudden self-deletion, I think it's safe to say that Lucian Grange's hands will be all over it. Now, I don't want anything bad to happen to Diddy, 因为这样子我们都没有素材啊。如果 Diddy 突然不见了，那好机车怎么拍片呢？So, let me know what you think the fate of the diddler might be. Is he gonna rot in a cell or will he rot in hell? But remember to keep it civil, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace!